Hello there, people of the internet. There's a colony of something crawling around on the tree, and it's right where my camera stand is. I have no idea if that's going to be a problem. I'm going to try and ignore it for now. We'll see where that goes. So, interesting concept for you guys. Wow, they are just coming out of the woodwork. They're not termites. I've never seen any creatures like these guys. Okay, interesting concept for you guys. I've been asked a couple of times what I would grab, like the Minuteman loadout, the thing that you would grab whenever you would go out and take care of whatever business it is that you have to take care of. I've been asked about that a couple of times, and I've made videos about that. If you guys want to go watch those on the channel, go ahead and go for it. But one of the things that I would grab if I was in a situation where it is like, hey, we need immediate support, get over there and provide help to whoever it is that needs help, I would grab my rifle, and I would grab this right here. This right here is a bandolier for magazines. Now, YouTube reviewer, if you're watching, pay attention that there is nothing inside of here. This is literally just cloth. So this right here is a bandolier for magazines. And normally I would have 4 standard capacity magazines inside of this. That's 30, 60, 120 rounds of ammo that I can literally just grab, throw on my person like this, and I grab my rifle and I go off and I handle whatever it is that I have to handle. Now, sometimes whenever I bring this up to people, they're like, well, I have the concept of using, a chest rig, or I have the concept of using a battle belt, or I have the concept of using armor plates that have, mag pouches on them. Like, my kit is this, and I got these on there, and there's how I transport my ammo. I'm like, fantastic. I got myself a pretty sweet armor setup as well, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mag pouches on that thing. So yeah, that is absolutely a viable option. And on that armor pouch with those 6 mag pouches, I actually have another 60 additional rounds than if I were to carry this on top of armor and other supplies that is also attached to that. However, sticking on a plate carrier is significantly more time consuming than grabbing yourself one of these. And that's one of the biggest benefits about having a bandolier like this. If something goes down and you need to assist with something like immediately, like, hey, there are incoming rounds, grab your rifle and a way to carry ammunition and, go handle whatever it is that you have to handle. If there's something going down, this right here is a very fast, very time conservationist way of grabbing yourself a bunch of ammunition. Grab it, toss it onto yourself. Now you got yourself a couple of magazine pouches. Grab your rifle and get out there with these 4 plus the one inside of the rifle. There should be more than adequate enough to handle your situation. If it's not, then you really have a bad problem on your hands. And I don't think that one additional magazine to make 6 magazines, I don't think that would attribute to helping much in that situation. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my advice will get somebody killed down the road. Who knows what'll happen. But this right here is just my philosophy behind it. You can grab one of these very, very rapidly. Now, another really, really big pro to something like this right here is these right here are incredibly cost effective. I know getting yourself armor or a decent chest rig or something like that, it would cost not necessarily a whole lot of money, depending on your concept of a whole lot of money, but it would definitely be dramatically more expensive than something like this. Something like this, especially if you get like surplus mag pouches or something, and something like this right here, you can pick up for like 15 bucks. Combine this right here with, I don't know, $8 a magazine, 8, 16, 32, so $32 plus that 15. That's about 45 bucks approximately, maybe 50. Then you got yourself a way to carry ammunition and a way to actually load the ammunition into your rifle. So if you have your primary chest rig, and let's say you got yourself 10 stacks of these bandoliers, that 10 stacks of those bandoliers will be about the same cost-effective wise, while having much more capabilities of carrying much more ammunition. It would be about the same cost-effective wise as your chest rig if you go with a decent chest rig or plate carrier group or something like that. So you would have one gear setup as opposed to like 10 different capabilities to carry ammunition. So if you have buddies, or if somebody shows up and they're like, hey, I've got my rifle but I've only got 1 magazine with it, be like, oh, here you go, have a bandolier with some magazines inside of it. So yeah, that's definitely another big pro. You could hand these out like candy, and it really wouldn't be all that cost prohibitive to be able to do something like that. You could arm a lot of people with something like this right here, as opposed to trying to get everybody a chest plate. Now, if they have their own chest plate, then fantastic. You know, they have their own setup, they can do whatever it is that they want. But most people don't have their own chest plate, from what I've been able to gather. So most people, whenever they show up, they're going to be like, hey, it's the end of the world. I told you I was coming to your house, so here I am. And I'm like, yeah, here you are. Have a rifle, have a bandolier, go for it. So that's another big pro. Now, it doesn't necessarily just have to be, you know, bandoliers like this that hold AR mags. As a matter of fact, I utilize regularly bandoliers like this right here for military surplus rifles. These right here would normally hold stripper clips of ammunition. In this case, I think this is a M1 Garand or Garand pouch, however it is you feel like pronouncing that particular name. But this right here is about the concept of what I would use. I would fill one of these with stripper clips. I'd normally get, I don't know, I think a bunch of the ones I got are like Turkish ones, and they got 7 pouches and 5 rounds per thing, so 70 rounds. And I would use those. I'd load them with hunting ammo or something like that. And I'd take them out hunting. That's way more ammunition than I would ever need. But there's been several times where a hunting trip has just turned into a range trip, and I'm an ammunition reloader, so I can afford to do things like that. But I'll take these and I'll bring them out hunting with me. It's nothing to have one of these on a side-by-side or in a truck or something like that. And then you grab your ammo, or, you know, if you, well, it's good to have that extra ammunition, because there's been a couple of times where I've come across like a group of hogs or a group of pigs or something like that. And, well, it takes a couple of rounds to be able to grab yourself a couple of pieces of game. So just having that extra ammunition on standby in a really convenient, easy to grab, throw in your person kind of situation to be able to go off and do whatever it is you're doing, that is just really convenient. I'll be honest, it is very convenient. Now, on top of that, I also have a couple of these loaded with just regular old surplus ammo. And I have several sporterized surplus Mausers that I got for dirt cheap. Typically, if I see a sporterized Mauser for like $200 or less, I'll end up picking it up. You could get yourself more, what's the word I'm looking for? You could get yourself original military configurations for just a little bit more. But whenever I buy sporterized rifles, typically I'm buying them for the sake of practicality and convenience. And if I get a sporterized gun, rather than get something that would be deemed necessary to put back in its original military configuration for the sake of collectability purposes, I'll go out and I'll get like a sporterized Turkish Mauser or a sporterized Spanish Mauser or a sporterized Yugoslavian Mauser or something like that. Just some sort of sporterized Mauser that nobody really would bat an eye to if it was not unsporterized. And what I'll do is I'll take those dirt cheap sporterized rifles, which are full power rifles that fire full power ammunition, and I'll get a bandolier. And then I've got several of those rifles at several different drop zones, and I've got several in several caches with a bandolier of ammunition there with them. So in the event that I find myself in a particular area or in a particular situation or at a particular spot, and I'm like, hey, you know, it'd be fun having a range day. I just so happen to have this Mauser here with this bandolier of ammo. Or, hey, you know, it'd be fun, you know, going on a hunting trip. I happen to have this Mauser over in this area with a bandolier of ammunition. Or, hey, it's a bad situation and I find myself in an emergency, and I'm, in some cases, I got some stashed like 16 hours away from my house by car in peaceful times. Like, hey, the, you know, arsenal is about 16 hours that way, assuming that we don't get stopped by whatever disaster is currently hitting us. So we're not going to be able to get to that. But guess what? Over here at this particular property, right here under, you know, in this chest or wherever it is that I have it, I have this sporterized Mauser and this bandolier of ammunition. And that's just a really cost-effective way to be able to have a full power, fully capable rifle, one that is going to be completely dependable, and one that is going to be, it's going to not cause any issues depending on where it's at. A lot of people argue, well, why don't you just get yourself a bunch of ARs and stash some ARs everywhere? price. Like, literally just price. I could get myself a whole bandolier of ammo like this, if it's surplus ammo, for like 35 bucks. And I could get myself a sporterized Turkish Mauser or Spanish Mauser or something like that for 200, although I have gotten them for less. I know I got a Vito Mauser I picked up for like 25 bucks at an auction. So, yeah, I can get those rifles for not a lot of money. Whenever I find deals, I pick them up, and that's just kind of how I do that. So I got this bandolier of ammo, and I got this full power rifle, and for the cost of like about 2 of those Mausers, I would only get 1 AR. Now the AR is a significantly better platform, but the idea of having a rifle that would be not as eyebrow raising as an AR, especially in some of the locations that I have these caches at, that would definitely be the preference. And these batteries are completely dead. So I think I've made my argument. I think I've made my point. I'm going to go ahead and send a couple of rounds of 8mm Mauser downrange, and then we will go ahead and we will close off this video. I got 2 rounds, and I am just about to run out of time on this camera, so let's send these rounds. There's 1 round, and here is number 2. I just launched those into the car. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Here's the outro. Like, subscribe, share, description below, link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. Like I said, I think I've made my point. Camera's about to shut off though, so I'll see y'all later. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.